All right, so grinding. Grinding is a process that you're going to spend a lot of time on in PSO2. It is essentially the way that you improve your weapons quality, damage, all that good stuff. Now, all new type weapons, which is what you'll mostly be using, will have a max cap of 35. They won't always have the 35 cap unlocked. In fact, a lot of them will have 30 unlocked, and you'll have to feed more items of the exact same name and rarity to that item in order to raise its cap. So, just to give you kind of some basics, I'll show you where the caps are. So if we take a look at, let's say, this Bacillus, go to the second tab, you'll see this one has a cap of 35. Now, right now, it doesn't have a plus next to it or anything, so it's effectively level 1, if you will, or level 0. But let's say we want to raise that. We want to increase it. Like, you know, one of the main quests you have to do, or titles you have to unlock in order to get past level 75 is to grind a weapon for your class up to 35. It has to be rarity 13 or higher. So it gets expensive. So we're going to use this wired lance as an example. Let's pretend that we're trying to break our hunter level cap. You know, you may just think, hey, I'm just going to go and I'm going to feed this any old item, right? You know, hey, I've got this laying around. Bad idea. Okay. The main reason is anytime you have a 13-star item, which is what you're required to do for the level cap quest, you try to grind it, it's going to eat up lambda grinders, which I actually have a fair amount of, but you're probably not going to starting out. But it's also, you know, it's gonna cost us a little bit of money and time and all that good stuff. The most efficient money way to do this, and it's a little bit meaner to your supply on lambda grinders, is to use the Dio quality, the 10-star items called Dios, and actually feed them to each other to get them to plus 30. So if we take, like, let's say this Dio NT plus 4. Sorry, let's back out. Let's select Dio NT plus 4. Now you'll see here, there's a few things. When you look at the XP, you get your base XP, which is based on the level of the weapon or the rarity. You get material bonus. Material bonuses, you get one for the same type of weapon. So if it's a sword, and you also get it for if it's the same weapon period. So if you feed Dio Ardios to Dio Ardios, then you're gonna get a really good bonus. So I've got a bunch of them here. Watch this. Okay, if you notice here, we are now giving it enough experience to go from grind value of 4, which was the plus 4 we started with, to 10. Let's go ahead and confirm. Now here, you can actually use items to do a lot of things. You can increase the chance of getting a great success, which will raise your experience even further. I'll just tell you a secret. You can't go past 10 when you're feeding items until you basically break the limit, which I'll show you right after this. So 10 is where we want to aim for our first grind. So we're going to say yes. We're not going to change anything here. All right. Now, the next time you grind, the potential unlock will automatically apply. This is that limit break I was talking about. So this is our item here. We're going to click on it again. Now we have the ability to give it a potential. So we're going to select the potential here. Say yes. It's going to eat up some photon spheres. Photon spheres are pretty easy to grind. Any 10-star weapon can be turned into photon spheres. All right, potential unlocked successful. Okay, so now that we've done this, we can repeat the process with additional Dios. Now, I prefer Dios because if you use only Dios to do this process, it will cost you a lot less Meseta in the end, as I mentioned. If you want to do this process using Nox weapons, you'll end up using more money, but less lambda grinders. So that's another thing to be aware of. If you do find yourself rolling in Meseta, but not having a ton of Lambda grinders use 12-star Nox weapons instead of this process. Okay. So here, we're just going to get this thing up to level 20 real quick. All right. So 20 is the next cap. We're just going to go ahead and say yes. Yay. And we get another potential unlock. Immediate strike. And you can read the effect here. This one in particular says boost the effect of just attack by 4%. Now we're using more photon spheres. Okay, so now we're at 20. Let's go ahead and feed this thing some more. You know what you can also do? Before you feed this thing more of these wired lances, what we can do is we can actually boost these wired lances too. So I could feed this wired lance another one, and another one. And let's just do the non-+1. So then they get a nice little bonus from being the same type. And then we can go back to our +20. And we can feed that. So, you know, I don't do that a whole lot, mostly because I'm usually swimming in Dios, but let's try to get this thing up to 30 real quick. Oh, we're almost there. Just going to speed through this to get it to 30. You'll pick up a lot of Dios doing emergency quests, by the way. So I've said it in another video, but anytime an emergency quest pops up, I highly recommend doing it just for the 10-star drops alone. You're going to either need the 10-star drops for photon spheres, X cubes, or grinding. Okay. So now we do unlock the potential again, but don't do it. It's a waste. You're going to be feeding this item to another weapon. As we talked about, we're going to do this Bacillus hunter weapon. We do not want to invest any more into this than getting it the +30. The +30 is basically making it so that the grind XP goes up significantly when we feed it. So watch this. We just go ahead and feed it. Boom, that takes us to +6. If you were just to take a normal +1, watch this. Not much at all. And the other piece of it is you'd use a lambda grinder for every single one of those. Whereas this time, we're getting way more experience. And look, we're only using one lambda grinder. And we could also build, you know, 4 or 5 of these things and feed it to this at one time. So, you know, you don't just have to do one at a time with the +30s. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to do one to show you. In fact, I probably have a great success item. Let me go and find one for you, and we'll see if we get lucky with RNG. Oops. It's under this category. Great success grind. Got quite a few of these 30s. We'll just do a 30%. We'll roll the dice. So we're going to get a Bacillus. The first weapon you choose is your base weapon that you're trying to improve. Everything after that is fodder that you're feeding to the weapon. And then here we go. We're going to select Great Success Grind Rate. Now these can be purchased with X cubes over at the X cube vendor. You also get them from Sega randomly for rewards. Let's go ahead and try this. Cross your fingers. Oh, we did not get a great success. We just see upgrade was successful, or upgrade was great success, I should say. But hey, we've got to +6 already, so that's progress. And then we would just repeat this same process by upgrading the Dios until they get to +30 and then feeding them to the weapon we actually want to boost. And that will definitely use a lot less Meseta than a lot of other methods. But just know that there's also a Nox method or a 12-star method that ends up using less lambda grinders. All right, well, that's it for today. Just wanted to cover some basics on grinding. But it's a great idea. As soon as you get to 75, you get your first Val weapon or whatever weapon you choose to take to 35. Get that grinding done right away or as soon as you can. It's a massive damage increase, and it'll let you level past 75. All right, take care.